Nice day outside. It's warm and windy.
I had this dream a couple days ago, and I was sitting in my backyard, and there was these two plants, like thick green plants, and they had heads on them, and they directly told me to develop my soul self. So today I actually found a book titled that same way, The Soul Self. It's called Soul Self: How to Tame Your Mind, Uncover Your Blueprint. Hold on. By let me find the author for you real quick. By Jack Steffens. He talks about this really good analogy of how the soul and the ego interact with each other. How it's pretty much like the horse and the rider. The rider is your soul self, and the horse and the horse's brain is the meat self, or the ego mind. And I'll go ahead and read this part for you. Imagine that the life your soul designed was to be experienced on a wide open, abundant, rolling green pasture extending from horizon to horizon, with plenty of sun and shade, fresh living water, and nourishing food. Yet, because of your ego mind training, you may find yourself fenced inside a dusty coral with brackish water and tumbling tumbleweeds. In that coral and misperception, your ego mind shows signs of distress. It is imbalanced, creating negative behaviors out of apathy, fear, or rebelliousness. And I really like this part. But one thing I would actually disagree with is that, where it says, in that coral of misperception, your ego mind shows signs of distress. I would actually say the soul self shows signs of distress, because it comes down here in incarnation with this expectation of being able to utilize this divine potential from the very beginning. But then it gets blindsided by this matrix, and because the ego is pretty much a blank slate, it gets used to the situations that, just what we call normal waking reality. Having to deal with the money system and societal expectations, and your parents programming you, especially if you grew up in a religion, the religious programming. And as I continue reading this book, I'll probably share more of what I find in this little gem that I'm reading. But I do know the basis of utilizing or actualizing the soul self is revolved around reprogramming the subconscious. And one of the most notable and ancient ways our ancestors talk about is meditating, because like my mentor Prince said, there's layers to meditation. It's not simply just the awareness of your presence. That's really just the beginning stages. It's to have a good foundation for how to quiet your mind in that moment. But because I've been developing my spiritual knowing, instead of being so caught up in that rabbit hole of just wanting to consume intellectual knowledge of everything that's going on in the world, because there's a time and place for that. It doesn't mean stop doing it. It's just don't be so caught up in that cycle. Like don't feel like that you can't function in everyday life out of you're not knowing something. There's a point you get in spirituality, or what I call now sacred secularity, where you pretty much know all you need to know, at least in terms of the surface level of reality. Because there's this other video I watched. I'm going to put up the link to his channel. Please watch it. It's really good. But what he was saying was there's no cause in the physical world. There's only effects. And it's so true, because everything is holographic, and the physical world, or the material plane, is only the surface. It's only the end result of everything on these higher planes. But I won't even call it higher, because again, there's no directions when you're talking about these dimensions and whatnot. They're frequency. So more what you're talking about is finer material, if you want to see it like that. Finer material. And that finer material starts with the soul self, the rider on the horse. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching. And yeah, stay hydration.
Feeling real ancient, my soul is a relic. I'm more than the nerf, but I'm still in the present, god damn it. I think I remember my essence. Came to the third, I thought I had a message. Sung to a swanee, remind me of 7. Life is a dance and that shit called Merkaba. In actuality, there is no duality. Just the all in people who see things incomplete. Including me, because I'm finding my puzzle piece. I need someone to piece the puzzle away, that's me. I need someone to piece the puzzle away, that's me.